Hi there, it's Tanya from Botanicamy. Today I'm talking about something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm hoping that I don't go off on a tangent and I talk for at least 3 days. So let's try and keep it nice and short. Today I'm going to be talking to you about purity and potency, and not just essential oils, but in general. And the reason I'm so very passionate about this topic is I think we've come to a stage now where there is so much information that is freely available. It is very easy to equip yourself with the knowledge to start understanding how we've given our health away, or the authority to other people to start to look after us, instead of us actually realizing that we're very equipped to look after ourselves, and we are should be very equipped, I should say, to allow our bodies to heal naturally. So today about potency and purity, and the reason I got to that is there's quite a lot of increase in disease stats at the moment, and I think Western medicine has been utterly amazing to get us to the stage now where we are very able to get to a very old age. In other words, it has expanded our life expectancy, but it's always at what cost? And whether you're living a good quality and a healthy life. Because if you're living to a very old age, but for instance you've got constant symptoms of chronic disease, is it somewhere that you really want to be? Is that what you envisioned when you got to the stage where you wanted to live longer? So it's a little bit of a serious topic. I'm going to try and make it as lighthearted as possible. But something as important as your health is not something to just joke about. Oh, fantastic. One of my friends just joined. He's saying it's very true. Yeah, I agree. So a couple of years ago, and we're talking maybe not even that long ago, I think like 20, 30, 40 years ago, we definitely didn't have as much toxins in our daily lives as we do currently. And I think that is very clearly shown in the rise in disease stats at the moment. So where we used to have to deal with non-communicable diseases being the causes of most deaths, so those are the bad news, right? The bad viruses and the bacterias and those kind of things. Hi Daniel, thanks for joining. So where it used to be communicable diseases, I shouldn't say where it used to be communicable or transferable diseases causing real big havoc in populations, it has now become apparent that chronic conditions are on the rise, and the stats available it's actually disheartening to realize that our bodies just have lost their natural ability to heal. And I think a very big part of that is due to lifestyle choices. So it's decisions that we make on a daily basis that is now starting to affect our health. And chronic conditions is not necessarily something which can be treated because you've basically been abusing your body for at least 5 to 15, sometimes even 20 years on a daily basis. So because you've been abusing it for such a long time, your body just literally loses its will and its ability to heal. And then you get to a stage where over-the-counter medication might not necessarily be the best thing anymore. It's no longer able to assist you. And Daniel says, Dr. Jooster. Yes, Dr. Jooster. I'm talking to you about disease stats, so I'm going to try and be so serious and not laugh so much. But it's something that needs to be lighthearted as well, because otherwise it's just doom and gloom. Because there's a very real potential in here to start doing some of your own research and start equipping yourself with the knowledge to understand that it's the daily things we do, the small steps we take, that can actually get you to a state where your body is able to heal itself on a daily basis. So our bodies are amazing, guys. They've just been designed it's just something phenomenal, okay? It's a miracle. And the processes that take place on a daily basis, and your immune system fighting bad things, and it's just an absolute wonder. And as you then start digging into this information, you start realizing things like chronic inflammation, and this is from poor lifestyle choices. Chronic inflammation starts attacking your immune system. In a sense where, I shouldn't say attack your immune system, but your immune system at some stage starts losing the ability to distinguish between what is good and what is bad. And if you, for instance, have a condition where you are under chronic stress every single day and you haven't yet found a method that works for you to bring down your stress levels, to bring back homeostasis, what basically happens is your permanently in flight mode, okay? So there's permanently inflammatory molecules swimming around, and literally your body starts attacking itself, okay? And that's when these autoimmune conditions develop. And there's so many of these chronic long-term conditions that are just not benefiting from trauma medicine or sick care as we've become used to or accustomed to with our normal medicine measures that we go to a GP or to a hospital or those kind of things. So basically, we need to start doing things on a daily basis. So in 10 to 15 years' time, your body is still able to heal and to naturally do the processes that it's supposed to do. So things like sleeping 7 hours a night, and it needs to be really good quality sleep. Your immune system needs 7 hours good quality sleep every single night. If you're not getting that, your immune system is not regenerating for the next day. And that's why there are also so many people with failing immune systems, and they get sick a lot easier, and they also take a very long time to heal because their immune system is just not as strong as it needs to be. We're also constantly exposing ourselves to toxins on a daily basis. As I said in the beginning, there's just so much proof now that the toxins we have to deal with on a daily basis now is just progressively more than it used to be a good couple of years ago. So this is everything from air pollution, which we can't really do anything about depending on the area where you live, obviously. But there's hormones and nasties in the drinking water that we drink on a daily basis. There are heavy metal contaminants in quite a lot of foods and in products that we use on a daily basis. The preservatives, guys, the preservatives are actually quite shocking, but there's literally preservatives in absolutely everything that you eat if you're not purchasing an organic whole food and preparing it from scratch yourself. There's pesticides or preservatives in every single skin product that you put on a daily basis, in the makeup that you're wearing. There's toxins in all the cleaning chemicals in your home. And there's quite a few people who actually clear up their respiratory conditions quite successfully just by switching to more natural laundry detergents or fabric softeners, because the perfumes in there are absolutely disastrous to your body. And it's not that we must have absolutely no toxins. It's just, I think our bodies have reached a threshold over which it can no longer proceed to function properly. So when you keep on bombarding yourself, especially when you're younger, I think your body is very equipped to still deal with all those things. But over time, these things compound and they sort of remain in your body, and your liver is no longer able to detox properly and get rid of the toxins, and all the rest of your organs start to suffer because of all the toxins. These are things from drinking like 10 cups of coffee a day. Yes, coffee's good for you, 3 or 4 cups, not 10. Energy drinks, drinking large amount of quantities of alcohol on a daily basis. Besides the fact that it's going to give you liver cirrhosis, it's also destroying all the very good gut bacteria, which we now know we need to be able to feel good every day, because they are producing the feel-good hormones or the chemicals for those kind of things. More than 80% of serotonin is actually produced in your gut. But besides that, you're also killing off your immune system if you're killing the gut bacteria, because more than 95% of your immune system actually sits in your gut. So when you think about and consciously think about the amount of toxins that you have around you on a daily basis, and you want to start moving towards a more natural life where you then are able to start thinking about which products you can incorporate into your life to support your body to be able to deal with all these toxins on a daily basis, you then also very consciously have to make a decision on what products you're going to purchase, right? So label reading it's not a science. It's actually quite easy. It's literally just picking up a product on the shelf, reading the label and deciding for yourself whether the ingredients that you're seeing on that label is going to be beneficial for your body or not. Seeing all these hearts and thumbs up coming up. Yes, I know it's daunting. And yes, especially if you've got, say, food sensitivities like I do, label watching becomes or label reading becomes a full-time job, actually. Or you just start buying your own organic vegetables and just cook everything from scratch. But you still need to label read all the cosmetics and the skin lotions and the everything that you put on your body. Because remember, it's not everything. It's not only the stuff that you take in on a daily basis. It's the stuff that you put on your skin too, okay? Those are also toxins. So when you then move towards a more natural and holistic healing, and you're trying to cut down toxins, and you would like to incorporate something like essential oils into your life to support your body with health, with daily emotional support, it becomes very clear that you then again need to start label reading, because I don't know if most people are aware of this, but there is no international standard that sort of governs what goes into an essential oil bottle. So, if you think in the food safety world, something like ISO 22000 or FSSC, sorry, tongue twister, 22,000. I mean, there's so many amazing food safety standards out there because, hey, guess what? The food needs to be safe. It can't have any pathogens or foreign bodies like metal pieces or stones in there because a person can get seriously ill. But there's no such standards for essential oils, unfortunately. And what happens with that is that anyone can then basically make an essential oil, stick a label on there and say, hey, this is 100% lavender. And I get so demotivated sometimes when I have people saying to me, but hey, they just go and buy this lavender off the shelf at a grocery store and it costs them 80 Rand. And fine for some oils, because some oils are obviously a lot easier to acquire. But when you start consciously thinking about what it takes to produce an essential oil, I'm pretty sure you're going to start realizing that buying that 80 Rand oil is probably going to cause you more harm than good. So because there is no standard, you can say there's 100% essential oil in that bottle because nothing can happen to you. There's nothing to comply with. There's just literally no guideline for anyone to comply with. And also keep in mind that things like the musk rose. So if you're purchasing a rose oil and you're paying, 90 or 100 Rand for say a 10 milliliter oil, put in the back of your mind, it takes 4,000 kilograms of petals. That's like 1 hectare of roses that needs to be distilled just to get 1 kilogram of oil. Do you really think that 10 milliliter oil that you're purchasing at 120 Rand, if it's a rose oil, is pure? There's absolutely no chance. Very sorry to burst your bubble, okay? True lavender, for instance, is 150 kilograms of flowering heads must be distilled. Guys, have you actually weighed a lavender flower, just the top, in your hand and felt what it weighs? And then you've got to think, there's a lot of people that start adulterating oils because it is so expensive and it is quite tricky to distill them properly and to not have any contaminants in there. And that's why you then start to understand why people in the industry would then rather go and use something like lavandin, which is a lot cheaper to produce, and you only need a 50 kilograms of lavandin to produce 1 kilogram of oil. So now you can start seeing why people in the industry would start swapping out ingredients. A lot of them have also got really clever. We've got some very clever chemists in this world. Because of the chemical profiles of essential oils and because they're made up of so many molecules in one essential oil, it is very easy to start supplementing some of those constituents with chemical or lab or man-made synthesized chemicals, okay? Because some of the concentrations are so low that you really need very sophisticated lab equipment to be able to detect that this oil has actually been adulterated with the synthetic instead of using the real thing. Okay. A lot of things also affect the chemical constituents of these plants. For instance, where they were grown, because remember the climate plays a really important role in that plant's life cycle. Whether it was growing in the correct soil conditions, were pesticides used, were fertilizers used to grow these plants. If plants are not harvested where they are growing naturally, it means that they probably had to use chemical fertilizers as well as pesticides and things to get these plants to grow and to survive and actually make it to the stage where they can harvest these plants to produce the essential oil from. So all these things start playing around in your mind, and then you start thinking to yourself, but hey, how am I going to actually know whether the oil I'm purchasing is pure or not? Well, it's really easy. You can just go and ask your supplier to supply you with a result. Okay, so when we start looking at things like purity and potency, maybe I should just define those terms a little bit better. So purity obviously means that there's no contaminants and fillers in an oil. And if you've just joined now, there is no international standard for what needs to go into an essential oil. Okay, so purity, if that bottle says 100% pure essential oil, and there's synthetics in there, or they've maybe diluted it a little bit with carrier oil, it is definitely no longer 100% pure oil. Okay, and if you just go backtrack a little bit about the plant material requirements that you need to actually produce a certain volume of essential oil, then you can start seeing why contaminants, or maybe some people just don't even put in contaminants knowingly. It could be that they've used a broker to get that essential oil before they've put it into their own bottles with their own labels. And it could be that that broker doesn't even know that the people that supplied the distilled plant materials to him actually were grown with a lot of pesticides and chemical fertilizers in there. All right. So when you're trying to lessen toxins, it doesn't help that you're then going to use an oil if it actually has been adulterated with even more chemicals, because you are going to run the risk of causing yourself more harm than good. Okay. Another thing to look at is potency, and this is very much dependent on the chemical profile of the plant. And here's where the point of where the plants are grown. Were they harvested at the correct time of day, in the correct season, where all of those things start playing a role? Okay, because for instance, if you then are harvesting a plant and it's the completely wrong time to harvest it, the chemical profile is going to be completely different. And in that instance, if you're being supplied with 100% pure oil, which I doubt, but if you are, it might be that it's not going to cause you harm, but you might be wanting to use the oil for a specific ailment or to support your body with a specific health challenge, and then you don't get the desired effect because it's actually got different chemical constituents in there than it should have, because the plants were not grown and harvested like they were supposed to. Oh, there's lots of hearts coming up. I presume you guys like the information that I'm providing with for you. So basically, when you start looking at which essential oil brand you would like to purchase, it's a very easy thing to do. You just need to ask where the people that you're purchasing the oil from, was there any quality analysis done on this oil? Is there any proof to show me that what is on this label is actually what's inside the bottle? Okay, and that is obviously something that I value a lot, because I understand the lab results. I come from a scientific background. So for me, being able to have a lab result for a specific batch of oil is very important, because then I know whatever it is that I'm using this oil for. In other words, am I putting it in a diffuser to uplift my mood? Is it actually going to be therapeutic? Is it going to actually detox the air or clean the air like it says? Or is it going to end up giving me a headache? Because remember, if you develop any kind of symptoms like that from putting something in a diffuser, do you think that oil is pure? Or is it something that your body doesn't like? I mean, there are people with allergies for certain essential oils. But it's definitely, your nose always tells you, if you open up an essential oil bottle and you don't like the smell of it, or it instantly gives you a headache, it's definitely an oil that you should be avoiding, and you should be listening to your body. Okay, your body always knows. There's quite a few of us that are more sensitive and we listen to our bodies, but there's a very large portion of the population who just get used to not feeling well. So it doesn't even matter to them, and they, I've got another stomach ache today. Doesn't matter. It's not like maybe I should go look at what I ate. Nothing like that. It doesn't even cross their mind. So there are definitely a large part of the population that are not sensitive enough to notice these things. And for those people, it's even more important to know where their products came from. And I'm not just talking essential oils, actually. If you think about purity, for instance, there are standards for organic. And if these organic standards actually require that only 10% of what goes into the final product needs to be organic. So technically, 90% doesn't need to be organic. So what are you buying? Are you actually purchasing an organic product or not? So these are all things to think about, and I know it's information overload. So if you have questions about these things, please don't hesitate to let me know. You can always pop a comment in the video afterwards, or send me a message if it's something more private that you would like me to assist you with. But it's definitely things that you need to start thinking about. So I think, to summarize, the most important points is, if you're trying to live a more natural life and trying to cut down on toxins, please also note that not everything natural is good for you. Someone, for instance, like me, that's got an absolutely severe gluten sensitivity, I can't use a natural skin product, for instance, with wheatgrass in it, because it makes my skin burn like chili peppers. Yes, the wheat protein in there is natural, doesn't mean it's good for me. Okay, so everyone's body is different. We're all biochemically different. We have certain sensitivities. Some of us have got certain allergies. And specifically, if you're moving towards the more chronic conditions and you've got chronic inflammation in your body, there's definitely going to be a very huge need for you to start looking very seriously at what you're eating. Are you eating things that are destroying your gut bacteria, because you really need them for your immune system to function properly? In other words, being able to distinguish between what is real food and seeing food as a foreign invader. So definitely start looking at those things. But also, if you then start incorporating essential oils into your life, please make sure you scrutinize the brand that you're purchasing. Are they able or willing to provide you with the results stating that the oil is pure? Okay, and what we're usually looking at there is something called the GCMS certificate or MSGC certificate, where the essential oil chemical constituents are actually broken up into all its little different pieces, and they can tell you how much of what is in there. And you can then very clearly also see from that profile, from the lab instrument result that is popped out, you can very then clearly see whether there's actually man-made synthesized lab chemicals in there, whether there's any carrier oils in there. Those machines also will pick up whether there's any pesticides or fertilizer contamination in there. Okay, so if your essential oil supplier is not willing to give you with that information, please ask them before you purchase. And if they are not forthcoming with the info, think twice about buying that brand. All right. So that's my little bit today about potency, purity. Hope it was a little bit beneficial and you learned something. And again, if you've got any additional questions, pop them in the comments. I'm also just going to take some time to make you aware of the fact that tomorrow I'm running a Colorful Friday VIP special group with a lot of value add with regards to information, as well as perhaps some products. I'm still thinking of all the amazing deals that I'm going to offer, but this is a VIP only group and you need to let me know that you want to be part of it. So please either send me a WhatsApp if you've got my number in your contacts, or pop me a message so that I can add you to that group, so that I can get you going and start sending you some information so you can also take part in my Colorful Friday instead of Black Friday day tomorrow. And then I'll see you all next week, 12 noon on Thursday, for my next live. See you soon.